Magazine.
Hey, and welcome to a very special episode of The Mo Show. I'm Maria.
I'm Ash.
And today we're here at the Tivoli to interview Jason McGerr, who's the drummer of a well-known band that you may or may not know, Death Cab for Cutie. Okay, so today's your last show. What's the tour been like so far?
It's been great, although it's gotta say it's nice to be back at the Tivoli to sort of wrap everything up. We started in Perth at the Arts Festival, and we went to Adelaide, and then Melbourne, and then Sydney, and then here, and so this being the final stop. Normally we go the other way around, finish Perth, but we're going to Southeast Asia after this. But this is kind of the perfect pinnacle point of tour, I think, because everyone is acclimated, we're sleeping right, we're eating right. Shows have been going really well, so this will be probably a bittersweet show being the last one on the continent before we go to Wellington.
And I've heard you say that Melbourne's one of your favourite places to visit in Australia.
Yeah, Melbourne's great. There's something, something about Melbourne that feels like it's made up of the rest of the world and not just Australia, and maybe it's just because it's a more international city in some ways, or metropolis. But the food is great. I really like the Palace Theatre there as well.
Well, we have one here too. Just
You
not
have
to
a Palace
discriminate.
here
Yeah.
as well. Okay, well then I'm gonna hold back my Melbourne case, and maybe
Don't
I'll wait till we
discriminate.
play the Palace. Yeah,
Exactly.
sorry about that.
Been saying that, is there anything you like about Brisbane in particular?
The coast is great.
So I saw you've had a chance
Yeah.
to go out there.
Yep, and the river is beautiful. And normally we stay in a different area of town, so this is newer for me. But I don't know. I just think that there's a different sort of relaxed. Maybe it's because of more concentrated sunshine over here. Maybe I don't know. What's the weather like over here compared to the West Coast?
It's at the moment it's pretty inconsistent, so
Yeah.
you can expect rain one day, then
Maybe-
humidity the next. So.
Maybe that's why I like it, because where I'm from in the Northwest, you never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes
There you go.
it's sunny and warm, and sometimes it rains for a month straight. And there's rivers and lakes and everything else. So maybe it's just the climate that I'm really attracted to here.
So you obviously got a strong following in Australia because most of your shows are selling out.
I know.
What's the crowd like so far?
Crowds have been amazing. I mean, all these shows sold out really fast, and we're playing. The last time we came through, a lot of these places we were only doing one show, and this time we're doing like 2 night stands in a lot of these theaters, and it's nice to know that even though we haven't been like pounding at the country to try and play more and more shows, that we could put 3 years in between and come back and still do well. But maybe that's part of it too, is people are waiting for the chance. I apologize, it's been so long since we've been back down
Yeah,
there.
that's okay. Apology accepted.
Yeah, okay, well, but I mean, honestly, this is outside the U.S., this is probably collectively our favorite country to come to.
You're not just saying that though.
I'm not just saying that.
Okay,
You don't
that's
have to
nice.
twist orange to get us to come down here. It's just logistically difficult when you have all this equipment and you're used to doing a certain size operation in the States. To bring that all down here is expensive and takes a lot of time and planning. So I guess we just wanted it to be right
I
versus
understand
just
that.
like shoving off and playing on a bunch of rental equipment and barely making the show work.
So, given that you released your album last year, can we expect a mix of old and new stuff in the show tonight, or?
For sure. Yeah, there's. Matter of fact, I think we're playing a few songs that I don't know if we've ever played live from back catalog, and still a lot from, both Codes and Keys and Narrow Stairs, Plans, Transatlantic. Something from. Don't quote me, but I think there's something from every album, excluding EPs. No, even some EP stuff. So.
Oh wow.
We tried to do that. I mean, I don't know what people want. I mean, if you really wanted to advance a show by writing all the fans in Brisbane, asking them to assemble your set list, I don't know what you'd wind up with. But, not everyone has all of our albums, and so it's important for us to play things that still mean something to us from the past, in hopes that people will also find a resonance in that.
Definitely. Talking about Codes and Keys, your most recent album, it's kind of it seems to be more experimental than some of your old stuff. What made you want to take it in maybe a bit of a different direction?
More experimental, huh? Maybe
Less electrical guitar.
Yes. Okay. So more experimental in terms of sound and production,
Yeah.
for sure. I think that the songwriting isn't any more adventurous than some of the things we've done in the past. But yeah, Chris Walla in the band, who also produced the record, he had a goal when we first started, saying, I don't want to be able to walk into a room and have all four of us pick up our traditional instruments and just write and record songs. We did that with Narrow Stairs, and it was largely a performance-based analog tape record where all four of us in a room just playing through the takes until we got it right. This record is more about constructing and sort of hanging the hooks of songs on things that were non-traditional. For instance, there would be one way that a song would develop would be that Ben would do like a scratch vocal and guitar, and I would play to it, or Nick and I would play as a rhythm section, and then we would run the drum part through like an old 70s synth keyboard, which then generated tones and sounds, and we would find the right key for the song, and that would sort of become the sonic bed that would drive the song. Like Monday Morning, Some Boys both went down like that. And then the guitars were used more to just color things on top of that versus drive the song. Now there are things like Doors Unlocked, which is very traditional, sort of rock guitar, prog rocky song. But I think that, like I said, we mostly try to challenge ourselves with different instruments and different sounds, and not take the normal approach to four guys in a room making music. And therefore, the songs were constructed with maybe, as you say, a little more, creativity and challenge, and a little outside the norm of what we typically do.
In saying that, even though it's taken a step in a different direction, you're still very true to what you've been doing for so many years, and I think that's what attracts so many of your fans for all these years. And how do you kind of stay true to aesthetics in the ever-changing world of the...
Well, you can only do so much, but it's still you. I mean, it's like that which we are, we are. I mean, Ben's voice will always be the sound of Death Cab Records, and it's a common thread, all the way back to the beginning, other than the obvious maturing of a voice. And, no matter if we just decided to be a metal band overnight, I still feel like it would only have so much teeth because of the sort of melancholic, sensitive approach that we can generally have to production and writing songs. But, you read about bands that take 4 or 5 years to make a record, and they go through, the same number of producers, and they start over, and they can everything, and they start over, and they can everything, and finally they produce a record which they feel is a great challenge to all the audience and the critics and everyone, and people finally hear that record, and you're like, yep, still your band, still Green Day, like it's still what you do. And I think it's to every artist's benefit to really challenge themselves to try and do things differently, and not just write songs differently, and not just play differently, or employ different musicians or producers or mix engineers, but the whole presentation can be different. I think that your fans will follow you because fans evolve and change too as human beings and people. I mean, whether it's fashion or it's relationships, or it's different tastes and what the record buy in public is after. Like, change is important, and if we stayed the same, if we wore the exact same outfit and every album was the exact same color and the same number of songs and the same structure, I feel like everything would drop off. So it's important to evolve, and I'm just glad that, when we do take a chance to do something a little different, that our fans have been there for
Mustache Magazine.